Hello, my name is Samantha Westside, and welcome to my informative speech. In this speech, I'll be talking about Booker T. Washington, who was born into slavery in 1856. A few years later, Booker T. Washington and his family moved to West Virginia to work as in the coal mines, as they had been freed by the Emancipation Proclamation. Big jobs like that were mostly taken up by slaves or people who had recently been slaves, as it was one of the only ways they could find money. But since Booker T. Washington had been born into slavery, he had always yearned for an education. He later found this opportunity open at the Hampton Institute. He didn't have the money to go, but General Armstrong allowed him to become a student if he would in turn work as a janitor, and this would pay for his education. A few years later, General Armstrong reached out to Booker T. Washington again and allowed him to become a teacher at Hampton Institute, where he spent the next few years. And then later, in 1881, he had founded the Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute. Booker T. Washington was dedicated to helping his kind gain the academic and agricultural education they needed to rise up from their past experiences. And Booker T. Washington assured farm employers that this would keep blacks out of trouble, and it would eventually become one of the most popular schools because of the opportunities it gave to those who had recently been in slavery or could not find work. One thing Booker T. Washington is known for is his ability to appeal to the masses. Because of his conservative policies and ideology, he had gained the side of many politicians. His resurgence of what Tuskegee had to offer secured the school and allowed it to continue its path to cultural success. One of his biggest achievements was the Atlanta Compromise Address in 1895, where he gave the whites personal questions if they would allow blacks to rise up and allow them the education encouragement they needed. Some of Booker T. Washington's other works were that even though he gained the side of many whites, there were a lot of people, even in his own race, he had gotten backlash from them. Certain groups known as the Niagara Movement and the NAACP were civil rights movements who wanted liberty and were dedicated to getting that. But Booker T. Washington was able to fend off these groups in secret. He was not a very violent person, and he was very open about his agenda. Through all of this, he continued trailblazing for the equality between whites and blacks. Booker T. Washington he's gone down in history as one of the most popular figures in the late 19th and early 20th century. He was very influential, and he knew his way with words. He was very, very peaceful. He was not a very violent person, and he closed off with his death in 1915. But the Tuskegee Institute has remained one of the most popular schools in history for not only its founder, but the opportunities it has allowed its people. And he had met Booker T. Washington many opportunities in his life to meet with other people, and he'd gotten to meet with presidents and other social figures. But that was my informative speech. I'd like to thank you all for watching.